Be aware, nothing on this channel is either PC approved or SJW sanitized. If this is an issue, you are free to turn back. If you stay and you do not like the conversation, hey, you have been warned. This is your only warning, bud. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to hang out. I am NB Geeks. This is Let's Talk. This was originally supposed to be 3.5 hours ago. It was also supposed to be Memories of Halloween, but early this morning we all got the sad freaking news that Sean Connery has passed away. And I scrapped the original plan. I said, nope, this whole episode, we're going to talk about this immortal legend of an actor. And I mean that seriously because when you really think about great actors, I mean people who have gone through, and the montage just gives you a small piece of what he's done. These were just movies I've seen, and not even all of them. But this man had acting chops, he had range. We all know him as James Bond, but I know we can all think of other movies he's been in. He was an icon in the film industry for, what, 5 decades? I mean, the man just was fantastic in his acting, and so many great movies, so much great stuff. And we'd be remiss if we don't bring up the fact that he's the guy who started James Bond. And as PCAT on my Twitter said, everybody else played James Bond. He said Sean Connery was James Bond. And I'm going to have to say, I cannot argue with that. That being said, folks, today we are going to talk our thoughts on Sean Connery, his acting, what we thought about him, anything in particular that we want to talk about. This is kind of free range. It's opened up. It's more somber, obviously. I mean, the man passed away at 90, so that's obviously a really good age. I really hope. Hey, PCat, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'm always talking about you. You're like my biggest fan, buddy. But with that being said, I want to introduce my panel. Guys, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry about the schedule getting all kind of wonky today. Had some timey-wimey issues. My TARDIS ain't working, which is my sleep schedule, so I apologize for that. I'm really trying to work on it, get myself back in a normal schedule. Uh, but hey, I'm here. You guys are here. That's fantastic. Love it. So let me talk about some people here. We have the man who has one of the most incredible voices I've ever heard. He has a voice that I find both soothing and calming, and it reflects his name very well. Folks, Positive Candor, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well.
Excellent. And then the other guy who is my favorite person to follow on Twitter. Oh, God, I've seen people cry when they try to argue with him. They try to fight him, and they just lose miserably. It's almost not even fair how bad he can kick their asses on Twitter. Jack Beers, my man, who still can't figure out when he's got his mic muted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beetle Beers today,
Beetle beers, and you got beetle bones, huh?
and I got Beetle Bones behind me. Yep.
Bones is looking good, man. I
Oh,
saw.
he's
I
looking
saw.
real good. Look at this. Look at this. This is imported from Egypt. I'm not kidding. And if you look closely, it's got a bunch of Egyptian symbols, but they're like in like shiny and glossy. It's kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And then this is like a weed thing.
You look like you got a little Beetlejuice thing going there.
Oh yeah, no, this is the Beetlejuice outfit. Yeah, I actually saw this last minute and I bought it. It was an impulse buy, but I totally don't regret it.
I can't say I blame you. I wouldn't regret it. It looks awesome. So, guys, like I said, we kind of got we got the sad news early this morning. I don't know how you guys found out. I was on somebody's channel. I don't know. I got tagged into somebody's channel on Twitter early this morning before I fell back to sleep. And Purple Valkyrie, being all the way over in Britain, where it was probably closer to the afternoon, she broke this to everybody on YouTube that was there, and it was like, immediately we're all looking, and it was like just it started popping, 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 and it was like Sean Connery's passed away. It was just like, and I started seeing the same shit I was putting. It's like, thanks 2020, you really just want to fuck us more, asshole. I didn't think I
Yeah,
could hate 20. I didn't know if I could hate 2020 more, but man, it sure found a way to do it.
yeah, this year sucks. It needs. I can't wait for it to end. Yeah, when I woke up, I checked I checked the DMs, and I had seen that you posted the link, and what we were talking about, and then you changed it to Sean Connery. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, and so like sure enough, yeah. So I went to the like the news thing, and yeah, front page, Sean Connery dead at 90. Um, he did a lot. He did so much work, like acting wise. I think he's
Yes.
probably done hundreds of roles. I went through his IMDb.
Yeah,
And,
that's where actually I got all those pictures from was IMDb.
yeah, and his acting credits go all the way back to 1954.
Yep.
That is insane. Um, you know, eh,
1954 to
I,
2012.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. And his first role, he was uncredited. But it was from a movie called Let's Make Up, and that was in 1954. And then eventually he made his way up to fame. um,
Yeah, he did.
yeah.
Um, Positive candor. What was? I'm sure you found out today, similar time the rest of us did. Your thoughts on the whole passing of Sean Connery?
And another legend basically taken away and everything. He's, yeah, passed away, unfortunately. Yeah, has numerous other roles besides 007, obviously, that he's famous for. Um, but yeah, Goldfinger will always be my number one Bond film.
Oh, that's great. Hey, talk about that. Tell us this. Why is that your favorite Bond film? Go ahead and
Um,
start us out with that.
it just has my favorite villain, I guess, of all time, Goldfinger, obviously. um, and just the whole gold premise, I guess, with Fort Knox and stuff like that. And then you have your classic lady names of the day. Can't get any better. Can't get any better than Pussy Galore. I mean, really, you know.
I must be
Uh,
dreaming.
and then yeah, Gert Frobe as Auric Goldfinger makes the role. You got Odd Job in this movie. Um,
Yeah, Kai. Hey, Kai, do you want to come? Hey, Kai, I'll shoot you a link if you want to come in. In fact, fuck it, I'll just shoot it to you anyway.
yeah. Um, and even the song, Goldfinger, is a classic song. I mean, still uh, you know, I could still hear it even to this day. I haven't not. I mean, I haven't watched it in a while, um, but yeah, I mean, it's a song that sticks in your head no matter what, basically. And of course, the classic Bond theme um, that plays throughout this movie um, in a way as well. But yeah, yeah, you can't get any better than somebody dying from being encased in gold and stuff like that.
I like what PCAT said here. Yeah, I remember that line. You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Yeah, the whole laser beam, yeah, scene
Yeah,
where he's strapped to the table with the laser going conveniently up to between his legs.
yeah, of course.
um, yeah,
All right, Kai,
yeah,
that's fine, buddy.
it's such a classic movie. I mean, um, obviously, um, you know, Doctor No was the first one
Hmm.
where he
Yep.
portrayed Bond in, and that's a great movie as well. Um I mean, all of his movies that he played Bond in, except for, I'm going to say, Never Say Never Again, which was, some people say, yeah, he's Bond, and some say, no, he's not, but whatever. I mean, I still like it, the movie, Never Say Never Again, but that's probably his weakest Bond film.
I got to be honest, Thunderbolt was always kind of my favorite of his era.
Okay,
But
I
that's
think
me.
Thunderball, yeah, has probably more exciting scenes in it, I guess, if you want it more, probably more action scenes in it. Um, and then
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
whole
definitely. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Goldfinger is, I mean, Goldfinger gave us the whole death with the chick covered in gold paint. I mean, we all kind
Yep.
of were like, what?
Yep. And there was a
yeah,
whole thing wondering, like, for a while, like, could you actually die in being covered in gold paint or something like that? And
I
all they did
remember
is
that.
all the MythBusters took this on. They actually did the thing, and then they actually just went to the actress who played her, and she was like, "Yeah, I was covered in gold, yeah, and I survived." So I don't know why there's a.
I remember that episode. I remember
Mhm.
that Mythbusters episode.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. I remember there was that myth that, it was like, well, it shut off all the pores so the body couldn't breathe. It's like,
Something like
what?
that. Yeah,
Yeah, something
yeah.
like that. And we all kind of were like, well, we didn't have Google to check back then, folks, so
True.
we kind of had to go off of what was available. Oh, Shirla Basley, great theme song for Goldfinger. You know,
Yes,
uh,
yes,
yeah,
it
I
was
would agree. Uh,
definitely.
I would agree with that. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to tell you the truth. The weakest opening of any James Bond, in my opinion, was Doctor No's.
Yeah, I agree.
It was the first one.
It was the first one, so they were still, yeah, they hadn't perfected it yet. Um, but I think by Goldfinger they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By
Yeah.
Goldfinger, they got that down. I think that let's see, it was Doctor No. Yep, From Russia with Love, and then Goldfinger, and then Goldfinger.
Yeah, that was the third
They
one.
yeah they by the third one they figured out their theme music really well.
Yeah, I agree. And like, yeah, so like the yeah, but I would say Goldfinger was probably my favorite of the Sean Connery James Bond movies as well.
Okay.
Because of the same reasons that everyone's already put out. Um, but I also like Thunderball too. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was the one I think had some of the more action related stuff that
Right.
uh for someone who, and I'm going to be fully honest here, folks. Roger Moore was actually my first introduction into James Bond. I didn't actually see Sean. Actually, I can tell you the exact first movie I remember seeing Sean Connery in. And it went like this. And this is how far apart these movies were, but this is how much I saw. This is how I saw it. First movie I saw Sean Connery in was Highlander. Second movie I saw Sean Connery in was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, here's the kicker. I saw them within a week of each other.
Nice. And so you probably recognized him right away. Like, oh, he was in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I like when I
with
like
the
when
beard. With the beard, I recognized him. I recognized him more with the beard because that was my first my first knowledge of him with facial hair. So actually seeing him clean shaven as James Bond, I actually didn't even recognize him. So because
Okay.
we're talking 20 plus year difference, and I was
Yeah.
a kid at the time. I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah.
Also at the time, I didn't know that I didn't know Bond had been recast at that time. I didn't know George Lazenby had been cast as James Bond, and then Roger Moore after that. So when
Mhm.
I first saw James Bond movies, it was Roger Moore. So when I saw Doctor No and I saw Sean Connery, I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Mhm.
As a kid, you're trying to figure this out.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
acting swapping wasn't quite common back then.
True. They didn't do that as much back then. And I kind of like in some ways I like that they didn't do that as much. But now that like it just happens nowadays like all the time. Like you know you got to recast everybody now because they're too expensive or whatever. um, yeah, my favorite opening from a James Bond would probably be for at least the Sean Connery James Bonds would probably be Diamonds Are Forever.
Mm.
I like that one a lot. I don't know. I mean, something about it just appealed to me.
No, you're fine, honey.
But yeah, um, like my favorite line from him ever. Like just kind of like expanding away from James Bond is what he said when he was on the movie called The Rock. When he's talking about winners going home and fucking the prom queen. I don't
Oh,
remember
God.
the exact quote. I have to look it up. But yeah.
You ready for this? I'll do my
Mhm.
best. Your best. Winners always won about the best. Or no, sorry. Let me rephrase that because I actually showed this exact quote to my wife earlier.
Okay.
Your best. Losers always won about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
That one.
Carla was the prom queen. Really? Yeah. Oh God, I loved him in The Rock. Positive candor. Let's go into this. Let's transition out of James Bond. Look, guys, I know we could talk James Bond when Sean Connery all day long, but the man had so much more breadth and range than just that. So let's just kind of go through. Let's pick some movies. Um, CDJ, the book, Dr. No, and Goldfinger were fantastic. The films did justice to the quality of the books. I'm going to be honest, I've never read the books, but I'm glad to hear that. But so positive candor. Why don't you start us off with something that you really enjoyed of Sean Connery's that wasn't, a James Bond related? Because the guy did 50 years. I know he did, almost a decade of James Bond, but he's remembered for so much more, and his acting range is just. I mean, when I did my montage, I just picked movies I knew. And I was like, okay, if I keep doing this montage is going to be about 4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was in numerous great movies as other characters, and the Untouchables with Kevin Costner to me is amazing film with him in it. Um, I really like him as Jim Malone in that movie, and of course, being Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is perfect casting, no doubt about that. Um, Hunt for Red October as Captain Ramus is really probably one of his most well-known films as well, and perfect casting again. And it's probably my favorite. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite films with him in it. Uh, love him as Draco in Dragonheart, even though it's his voice. Um,
I am the last one.
yeah, uh, yeah. Of course, Highlander and Highlander too. Um, as Juan Sanchez.
Juan Sanchez Villa-Lobos Ramirez, Chief
Yes,
Metallurgist to Charles V of Spain. I'm at your
yes.
service.
I love him in uh, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Um,
Yes.
again, playing
King Richard.
King Richard. Yeah, he played Robin Hood in Robin and Marion way back in the 70s. But it's one of his lesser well-known roles. But he did play Robin Hood.
Well, I
Actually,
think that was more. I think that was more cameo related, but we all knew who he was. Come on, it's King
uh,
Richard, and we're like, dude, it's Sean Connery. We were
yeah,
all geeking out. We all knew
uh,
who it was.
yeah, love him in First Night as King Arthur. Obviously,
Oh yes.
another classic movie with Richard Gere as Lancelot, and um,
I
um,
love that take on. I love that take on Camelot.
yeah,
The first night, I absolutely loved it.
yeah, it's a really great movie. Um,
Untouchables. There's
yeah,
another
The
good one.
Untouchables already named. Entrapment with him and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh
Hey,
God, I love that movie.
he was really good in that. In Entrapment. To me, that kind of brought him back. And then he was in Time Bandits, which is considered a classic as well, by the people who did the Monty Python films, Terry Gilliam and stuff like that. Um, and then he was an original Murder on the Orient Express as well.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, the one in
Oh, I'm gonna have
1974.
to. I'm
He,
gonna have to look at that.
yeah, um, or to me, the definitive Murder on the Orient Express movie. So yeah, he's done numerous films where his character, his presence, um, yeah, definitely, you know, makes the film. And yeah, probably, yeah, if out of all those, I would probably have to say Hunt for Red October is probably my favorite. With Last Crusade coming in real close to that. Um,
Those are two
because
good
yeah,
choices, Pete. Those are two good choices. Positive candor. I would have a hard time going either way.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's. I mean, yeah. Depends on what you're more a fan of, but yeah, Hunt for Red October just is to me better than Last Crusade, just because of the way his presence in that film. Every time he's on the screen, you're just waiting for him to do basically something amazing, and he does. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
Purple.
he just
Hold on a second. Positive candor. I don't mean Purple Valkyrie. Yeah. Good evening. Rest in peace, Sean. You will be. Yes, absolutely. Purple Valkyrie. You were actually the one. I was on that stream. They were playing a game early this morning before I fell back asleep, and you were the one who told us about Sean Connery. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, no. And then I started looking it up, and I was like, but hey, Purple Valkyrie, I just shot it in here. You're free to come on if you'd like to talk. Absolutely about it. Yeah. What do we got here? Dragonheart, Zardos, Highlander, all films. Yeah, I agree. I enjoy. Well, actually, I don't think I've seen Zardos. I don't think I've seen that.
It's
I've seen Highlander. I'm sorry, what?
it's definitely one of his lesser well known films, but yeah,
Yeah, we used to make fun of that, me and my buddies.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was bad, but it was good. It was so bad it was good. It was one of those type of things, at least to us.
I loved him in Dragonheart. I was like, man, I'm gonna
yeah,
be honest. Between him and John Hurt, about the two best guys to voice a dragon.
yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about John Hurt, it's called Merlin. I'm sure Provockery's heard of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of my favorites that's a little lesser known is honestly, I thought Finding Forrester was really good. Did any of you guys see Finding Forrester?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a long time since I've seen
So,
it. Yeah, yeah, I've seen
so
it.
yeah, so Finding Forrester has this guy who he writes a book. He's writing, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. And it turns out Sean Connery's character wrote a book that won a Pulitzer. And of course, he's very famous for that, but he only wrote really one book. And he ends up meeting the guy and he talks about, he tries to talk to him about what the book meant. He goes, I wrote the book. I don't need to know what it means to you. And then he looks at the book and he goes, oh, you dog-eared the damn thing. Some of those little quirks that he did just were so kind of funny. And it was a very touching movie. It was very different. I mean, it wasn't action. It was more drama based, more personal based, more, and I think attributed to the range of Sean Connery, whereas he's like certain actors, they're like fine wine. The older they get, the better they got. Or they just kept the good shit going. I don't know. It always amazes me that like for example, I'll give you an example. I know Highlander isn't a blockbuster, we all know that, but it had such a cult following. And let's be honest, when it comes to Sean Connery being on the scene, the moment he shows up, I'm Juan Sanchez Villa-Lobos Ramirez, Chief Metallurgist of Charles V of Spain, and I'm at your service. And he shows up with that, hat on and everything, and he looks, kind of comical and everything. And, then he's like, he starts training McLeod, Christopher Lambert, and he tries to actually cut his age. He goes, crude and slow, clansman. Your attacker was no better than that of a clumsy child. There is something. I don't care if I've always said actors can only do as well as the writing material they have, but certain people have the ability to take even mediocre and make it good. And Sean Connery somehow, in my opinion, I know a lot of people who like The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I didn't necessarily care for the movie overall, but damn, Sean Connery just was chewing up every scene. It was hard not to love it. It's kind of like, I'm going to be honest. We can talk about this if you guys don't mind. All right. Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
I
All
love
right,
that.
guys, I know
I
you
loved
want to
it.
talk about this. Come on.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, that was like other than James Bond, that was another role that he was born to play.
And they were only 12 years apart, but you could just believe that they were father and son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yeah, it made sense. It was natural. I mean, I mean, they're two alpha males. You know what I mean? Like, and they're both. But of course, like Sean Connery is like, you know, he's so huge. You know what I mean? Yeah, I enjoyed that one. The ones, some of the ones I enjoyed, like you've named, you guys have both named all the ones I've enjoyed. I mean, like you know, The Rock. This is the one I kind of enjoy like the most outside of James Bond. Um, you know, I loved him in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I loved him in the Highlander movies. I loved him in the Untouchables. I mean, like you put this guy in any movie, and I'm gonna love him in it because he knows how to do it right. Um, same with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I mean, that wasn't the best movie, but he did. I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did. What do you
So,
think, Positive Candor? Outside of James Bond, what's a movie you want to talk about with him? I mean, I'm all about. We could talk about Indiana Jones and Last Crusade for the last 30 minutes for all I care, because I would love it, and I'm sure
Yeah,
we could all do it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he makes Indy. Yeah, he definitely portrays Indy's dad. Yeah, extremely well. I mean, when you think about it, he's not really in the movie that much. Um, he's only in it maybe what, basically 2 to 3 parts of it for the most part. When you really think about it, towards the end, obviously, when they're inside of the um, place with the chalice, or I guess the um,
Are you talking about the Cup of Christ?
yeah, yeah, you don't know
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Oh, I like it when he first showed Junior. Yes, sir.
yeah,
And everybody like me was all like, "What the fuck is this Junior thing?" He keeps calling him Junior through the whole movie, and it's not till the end of the movie we find out what that means.
yeah, because Indiana was the dog's name.
You were named after the dog. That's his name, George Henry Jones Jr. I like Indiana. We named the
Yeah,
dog Indiana. The dog. You were named after the dog. I love that guy. That one actor. He was in
yes, yes.
three of the four movies. Man, I wish he had been able to show up in that last one. But oh wait, that's right. There's no fourth Indiana Jones movie yet. I'm just blocking that one out
Well,
of my
there was
memory.
a fourth one,
It
but
sucked
yeah, most
ass.
people don't like to talk about Crystal Skull, but but anyway,
It's kind of hard to want to talk about that. I mean, you go from Harrison Ford and Sean Connery to
yeah,
Harrison Ford and Shia LaBeouf.
yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
couldn't
Extreme.
crash that. You couldn't crash that any harder than. I mean, that's a crash worse than what I've seen Bird of Prey 5 do on his simulators. For God's sakes. And for those of you who don't know, that's a joke. But Bird of Prey 5 would get it, and I know Positive Candor will get it. And Jack, if you never watched Bird of Prey 5 do his flight simulators, he is what I jokingly like to say when he talks. He's the guy who can do Indiana Jones and Last Year. I didn't know you could fly. Fly, yes. Land, no.
yeah, that seems. I've done space simulations before, like space simulators and stuff, and that I have the same problem landing. I keep crashing.
Yeah. Uh I loved him in I actually loved him in The Last Crusade. The Last Crusade is honestly my favorite of the entire trilogy. There is something about the chemistry between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford that is just freaking magic. It just it's like they just gel perfectly together throughout the whole movie. No, I didn't forget. I said I'd get to it. I didn't say when. My wife's like, "Did you forget to feed the pets?" No, I didn't forget to feed the pets. I just didn't say when I'd do it. And my wife's impatient, and now she's feeding them. So don't be surprised if I have a concussion in the morning. This gentleman though, I mean, with his acting career and his range, we've only barely even touched on anything he did. Uh Hunt for Red October. Oh my god. If only, and this is all I'm gonna say, if only Alec Baldwin hadn't been in it and Harrison Ford had been Jack Ryan at that point. Oh, if we could have just had that gel. That would have been so cool. But, as much as I don't care for Alec Baldwin, I still love the movie because it really had a great story, and you were kind of wondering what was going to happen.
Yeah, you were wondering, is he really defecting or not? Really?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know if he was defecting, but we didn't know who was. Oh,
One ping,
PCAT
one
knows
ping
his.
only. Yeah, yeah. One
PCAT knows
ping,
his Hunt for Red
one ping
October.
only.
One ping. Yeah, you know your Hunt for Red October. Yeah.
Yeah, to me,
Oh yeah, this was the thing because I remember reading about this. The whole silent running stuff. That
mhm.
was actually a revolutionary idea that they were really thinking could happen back in the day.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the Caterpillar drive, which was
Yeah.
experimented with, it never was something that the Navy implemented, but they did experiment with it.
I think it's interesting that Sean Connery played a Russian captain, and then, by the way, Harrison Ford played a Russian captain in another good submarine movie. I don't care what anybody says. I thought K-19 was a great movie.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, if you
K-19
get a chance,
Widowmaker.
what's that positive?
Yeah, K-19 the Widowmaker.
Yeah, K-19 Widowmaker. I love that movie. Maybe because I'm terrified of the idea of being in a sub. Oh yeah.
Subs are so tiny. There's no space in subs. I would be so claustrophobic.
Something about submarine movies when done right, and yeah. I don't think you'll get PCAT. You will not get an argument at anybody on that. I would also say that was also why am I forgetting the name of the first time the Romulans showed up? Balance of Terror.
I
That
was gonna,
was
yeah, I was gonna say it.
that was a submarine That was a submarine episode too. And I mean, that's literally, I mean, when you think about it, that's what Star Trek literally really was a lot of times, was more submarine based versus uh, aerial space until later on down the road.
Right.
But yeah, submarine movies, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I've never been a bubblehead, and I'll be the first one to tell you I never wanted to be. The idea of being stuck, first off, with a bunch of water around me in a steel tube, coffin basically, and I can't see shit. Everything I see is based on radar.
So I've been at there's like museums out in San Diego where you can actually visit um, a couple of submarines. One of them is actually a Russian submarine, and that one was the smaller of the two, I believe. And there's no space. There's absolutely no space. You probably got about I don't know how many people are in a submarine, like 20 to 50, I don't know, but yeah, you're in there and there's no space. You have to like duck down just to get through like the doorways. I hit my head a couple of times on the doorways because, they're so tiny, and I would be terrified of the idea of imploding inside one of
Hmm.
those. Yeah, I'd be terrified of that idea.
Yeah, trust me, I would too. But there are men and women stronger than me who somehow get in those things. And then, but they make such great, those submarine movies, they make such great
It's a lot of
stories.
tension. There's a lot of tension in submarine movies. Yeah, just all over. Just the fact that you're in a submarine, I think, like gives it a lot of tension. Especially if you're like in a war environment or something like that.
But like U-571. Oh, that was great.
That
With
was good.
With Harvey Keitel and Matthew McConaughey
Hmm.
and Bon Jovi till he got hit.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
that was pretty good.
yeah, and Bill Paxton was in that movie.
Yeah, I miss that guy. Um,
Yeah, I
like
do too.
I remember like I first got introduced to that guy in Titanic, the Titanic movie in 1997 when I came out, and then I followed him. I followed his movies and stuff, and then he passed away. But yeah, I miss that guy. He was a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he was in a lot of ways. But like we said, Sean Connery, he had this whole breadth of range, and you would think back in the day in the '60s, there was always this worry about typecasting. So you would have thought, he'd have been typecasted maybe as a spy role or an action role, and maybe that wasn't the case at the time, but he managed to blow out of that and do things as great as drama, as he's done romance. He really tried to give his career a breadth of challenge in his acting, and more often than not, he really managed to sell it. And he managed to do something that is not easy in Hollywood. He managed to have great chemistry with his on-screen staff.
Yeah.
I mean, more often than not, you could. I mean, positive candor. What do you think? Do you think Sean Connery had could just really kind of have that chemistry where it seemed like they just seemed to feed off each other and just interact and just see? That's the way I feel with him. Is it just seemed like people were able to connect with his acting skills. Yeah, maybe their acting, his acting, combination, whatever. All I know is the man just seemed to gel. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, he could act with anybody, just as easily, I guess any actor can act with other starring people in their movies, I guess. But yeah, I guess it's maybe the beard because yeah, once he got the beard, that really set him apart. And everything
Just like Riker.
to be his iconic look, yeah, basically. Because yeah, once he got that beard, yeah, he could be in any movie then. There's no
I
doubt
don't
about
know.
it.
To be honest with you, I thought the bald head worked better for him with the beard versus the full head of hair.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah, I think that man could rock a bald head or a full head of hair. It didn't matter. We were like, you couldn't care less. You're just like, it's Sean Connery. Yeah, he's one of those. I mean, in our reality, when we really discuss things, he's one of those few actors that we used to go to the movies to watch. We don't really go to the movies now to see actors. There's maybe one or two or three at best that we'll take our time and go spend our money at these days. But it used to be the name. It didn't matter what it didn't matter what they were acting. The point was this actor was in it and this was what was supposed to get you to want to come to the movie. That's not the same thing anymore. You don't have those Sean Connerys, you don't have those Arnold Schwarzeneggers, those Clint Eastwoods, John Waynes, Jimmy Stewart's, Donna Reed's, Patty Dukes. I mean, I could name all kinds of people who, I'd go watch a movie just to watch that actor. Now it's kind of like, because
Robin
I have,
Williams.
oh, Robin Williams. Yeah, Robin Williams too. Absolutely. But, we used to have a time where the name really was the recognition of the brand. It was how we wanted to watch movies. I mean, blockbuster movies used to have big names. And now it's it's gotten to a point now, it's more movie recognition versus actor recognition, which I can't say I disagree with because unfortunately, a lot of the actors have, I hate to say it, kind of lost their way. Sean Connery, as far as I could tell, never got, never talked like a dick to his fans.
Sean Connery was knighted in 2000. He's actually a Sir. He's actually
Yeah,
Sir
he's
Sean Connery.
Sir
We,
Sean
we
Connery.
we need to remember that too. We've been speaking about him as if he's not a knight. But
You're absolutely right, and I did mention that earlier in something else. So you're right. We should
yeah,
be
he
referring to
was
him respectfully as Sir Sean Connery.
he was 69 when he was knighted, and the Queen knighted him because of his roles in 007 as 007. I thought that was a cool little factoid. Like he was so successful. To be such a successful actor that the Queen knights you. um, that's a crazy honor. I wouldn't mind being Sir Jack Beers or Beetle Beers.
PCAT said how movie star icon is an age. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's one thing to have an opinion. We all have them. But it's another thing when you're, trying to say, well, I'm a famous person, so listen to what I have to say because I'm smarter than you. Sorry, it doesn't work that way for us.
Yeah,
We,
Marina Sirtis kind of like that wasn't her best moment, if you know what I mean. That tweet.
oh God, which one? She's had a few.
Well, I'm the one where she said to Kirstie Alley, "You're dead to me." I didn't think that was a really. I didn't,
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, really?
yeah. So, yeah. Sometimes they don't shine their best. Those stars.
Well, you got to remember you got to remember we're talking about real people, not the actor they played. And I know sometimes it's hard to shit for us to I like this. Big names used to mean big quality. Now it just means big mouths and bad attitudes. CDJ, mic dropped. Update. Here we go. Here's my mic. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. They are. You can't. I don't think for a second that an actor like Sean Connery felt entitled to my money. I really felt like he was the kind of actor, whatever his political, personal views were, this was a guy who did a job and did it to the best of his ability and tried to keep his personal life and his professional life separate, which is something, unfortunately, a lot of actors nowadays don't want to do. They think because, oh, I have this profession as an actor that I should give you my personal views because you should want to hear my personal views. No, that's not the way we watch you. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, guys like Sean Connery, that breed of actor is just. I think it's an endangered species, and it's sad. Maybe we'll get back to it at someday, but it's ridiculous. We want to be entertained. We want to, talk to these people and tell them, hey, loved your movie, loved what you did, great job. We don't want to be like, I don't care who you're fucking voting for. It's like, come on. And unfortunately, that's modern entertainment these days, and it's sad. Although you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Positive
I've
candor,
been
Jack. Do you guys think I'm wrong?
like I've been when it comes to politics for me, I've been like focusing on other things, which is why I made a big deal about the Halloween thing. I'd rather focus on that. Um, Politics is too ugly for me right now. I can't really deal with it. Um, yeah, and also like as a liberal who is you know I don't really have any hope for the Democratic Party. But so I don't even like care about Joe or anything like that. I don't really care about any of that. Positive candor?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't really talk ever about the political mess, which to me is what it is, just a big freaking mess.
Well, as you guys know, I'm very political. You've seen it on Twitter, but I try to separate it here, obviously, and that's kind of what I just, I don't think it's asking too much from our actors to stay in their professional lanes. I don't care if they want to support someone. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. I don't have to agree with them. But to this attack level that we've gotten from celebrities, it's why a lot of us are turned off from them. Why we're like, you're an asshole. Yeah, you act and you want to talk shit, but we're not stupid. You made more money on probably what, that whole season than we did in the next what, 2 3 years. I guarantee you, if I looked up what Sean Connery made from his first James Bond movie, it's probably more than I made in my first year on a job. And that's fine and dandy. But, he was the kind of person who was, he was a great actor. He was very humble. I mean, even when he retired, people were offering him jobs, and he even said, I wouldn't mind coming back, but retirement is just too much fun. And he left the world, he left the media world and decided to enjoy himself the last what, 10, 15 years of his life.
Which is great. I mean, like I would,
Yeah, exactly.
he earned it. I mean, he was in television for like 50 years, so of course he earned it.
Exactly. So when he called it a day, I mean, it's like he called it a day and he said, I'm done. I'm ready to call it. I'm ready to move on. And he did. And that's great. And I don't think anybody really gave him any shit for it, which I can't imagine why anybody would.
No, live
I
live
mean,
your
he
live your
gave us
last lives in happiness. Live your last years in happiness. Do whatever you want. Yeah, yeah. Like he doesn't really he doesn't really owe us anything after all that. You know what I mean?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. He did great work. He did okay work. Probably did some bad work. Okay, that's called life. Even
Every every
acting,
every actor has their bad movie.
yeah,
Every
every
actor
actor
has
is
a
going to
bad
have a
movie.
bad movie. There's no way
Yeah.
around, and that's okay. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
They give it their best and they put all their in. But I'm going to end it on this, folks. Sean Connery, passing away at 90 on Halloween. It's sad. Yeah, it's just another punch in the gut on 20 fucking 20. But I'm going to say this. The gentleman had 90 wonderful, I would hope, wonderful overall years. He had a good retirement. The man brought entertainment to millions, if not billions, of people throughout his career. And absolutely love so much of his work. And, he's just one of those last few actors I grew up on where, they could bring their game, they could bring their presence. I mean, him, Harrison Ford, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, James Earl Jones. I mean, I could go on and on about people who could just have a presence that just somehow they managed to do it. And this guy he had two things going for him. He had the face, well, actually three. He had the face, he had the voice, and he had the presence to just captivate the audience. That's my final thoughts on Sean Connery. Beers, final thoughts on Sean Connery, buddy.
Um, yeah, that guy was a memorable guy. Ever since like I got into movies and I started really getting into it, my friend got me into. I'd seen James Bond, like the James Bond movies before, but it was like the Pierce Brosnan James Bond and the Daniel Craig James Bond and stuff like that. It was a friend of mine who showed me the Sean Connery James Bond and the Roger Moore and the classic Bond, and
Okay.
and so like that's where I was first introduced to him, and I was really, I was impressed. How could you not be impressed with a guy like that? And and then like after like afterwards, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this guy before. This guy was in Indiana Jones. Like, I love like making those connections as well too. So um, yeah, I'm gonna miss him. He's always going to be forever in my memory and forever in my film collection. Um, and just like Robin Williams and all those other ones that have gone before, I'm gonna cherish them.
Absolutely. Yeah, people like Robin Williams, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, all those guys, all those classics. Yeah, we're definitely going to always miss them. But man, just being able to appreciate the beauty of work they were able to give us. And not only that, we look at them for the beauty of the work they gave us, not the political bullshit, the SJW. Thankfully, these people were beyond that crap that we're
Back
getting
then they
now.
were.
Yeah, back then they were. Back then they realized that their whole job was to keep the fans happy. Unlike now where it's, "Oh, I'm a star. You should come see my movie. If you don't see my movie, there's something wrong with you or you just don't get." No. It's not how it works.
That
We
didn't
have
even
to
that didn't even start until Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Before before then, never in the history of television or film has a studio ever blamed the fans or the audience for a failure.
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah,
That was a low blow.
exactly.
Positive candor, your final thoughts on your memories of Sean Connery as the actor that you knew.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend that will be missed. But, like you said, he's stepped away from acting because, yeah, he knew that his time had passed, basically. It was time to do, um, yeah, chill back and relax, basically. Um, so, yeah, I would never fault any actor for deciding that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, he has great, great movies. I'm definitely going to look forward to watching some now that I haven't seen in a while. Like I said, that's about it, really.
Yeah, we're gonna end out with that. CDJ, another great name. Alan Rickman, yes. Alan Rickman, yeah. We could talk quite a bit about that man. Loved Alan Rickman. Denzel Washington, yeah. PCAT, also another one. Yeah, we still have some actors who are still of that gravitational pull. Unfortunately, we don't have Alan Rickman anymore, and we don't have Robin Williams, and we don't have now Sean Connery. We still have Denzel Washington, thank God for some things. But guys, it was great having you here. Thanks for talking about, Sean Connery with me. I know it's Halloween. I don't know what you guys got planned. My dogs are going nuts because my door keeps ringing. My family's outside, so I'm gonna
I'm
go
gonna
help finish off
I'm
with
gonna
the
be
can.
throwing candy at people all day. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
You got almond joys. Almond joys
Oh no,
got nuts.
this is my roommate's candy. Happy Halloween! You want some?
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Jack, Positive Candor. Another great session. I'm so sorry again for being late and everything going on. I promise I'm getting my schedule back on. I'm getting my sleep schedule back on. But I appreciate you guys taking time for coming here. It was great. I heard, by the way, I saw you, Jack, you and Positive Candor, I guess, had a really good talk about The Mandalorian.
Yeah. We talked about the Mandalorian. Positive
I'm gonna
Candor. You
have to.
should
I'm
come on
gonna
the
have to.
show about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out that stream tomorrow. Because I saw the tweet about it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Every Friday, I'll be discussing each episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Friday was kind of like today. Actually, Friday was the worst day for me. I could barely stay up. I couldn't figure out whether I was going to be up, be down, be tired. Yeah, it's just been rough. But yeah, I saw your
Yeah,
guys' thing. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to watch this. Uh, Personally, I want to try and get on the next Friday one because I'm gonna be honest. I thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
oh yeah.
It was very good. It was very good. I wish I can join more Positive Candor's podcast, but when he comes on, I'm usually at work.
Mm,
Yeah, I took the week off this week, so that's why I was able to join this week. But yeah, but thank you for having me, Positive Candor.
No problem.
yeah. Well, I will definitely try to make a positive candor for the next one for your Mandalorian because, man, when I watched that, I was like, and I heard some people didn't really care for it. That's fine. It's okay. Me, I freaking loved it. And the moment I saw Timothy Olet
The,
take
that
off
ending, that
Boba
ending,
Fett, man, come on. The Fett Man.
and they even hinted at it with in the beginning with like showing off his armor.
And I was sitting there the whole time I was watching. I was watching it with my wife, and I'm like, that's Boba Fett's armor. She goes, "Are you
Hmm.
sure?" I'm like, that's Boba Fett's
Yep.
armor. And the more I'm watching it, I'm like, this is Boba Fett's armor. I'm like looking it up. I'm like, this is
I was the
Boba
same
Fett's
way.
armor.
I was the same way. At first, I was like, "Is that Boba Fett's armor?" And then by the end of it, I was like, "That's Boba Fett's armor."
That's Boba Fett's armor. That was crazy. And I mean, we all knew they were talking about bringing Boba Fett in, but the fact that they're bringing in him, the actor who played Django and played the clones and
Right.
is actually going to play, and I mean, it makes perfect sense for him to play an adult Boba Fett.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense, and I'm just like,
100%.
I was just like this. I was like, I was like Peter Griffin. I was geeking the fuck out. All right, guys. Everyone, you have a good one. I don't really have an outro today, so that's okay. Peace and long life. Live long and prosper. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy your
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween!
Happy Halloween. This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Okay.